Good day guys. Well, I'm in my workshop at the moment and you'll notice on the little table in front of me I've got a few bits, primarily a Tango II and a whole lot of odds and sods which were sent over by TBS, and this is the multi-protocol module conversion for the Tango II. So I thought I'd very quickly do a quick live modification of this and see how easy it is. If it's a problem, what's involved. Here goes. So first things first, we pull off the covers because I believe the screws are underneath here. In fact, from memory, I did this a long time ago, and we need a little tiny Allen key because I changed a battery on one of these somewhere along the line. So I vaguely recall that all these bits are in here. And I must make sure that I don't lose these screws because I have a habit of doing that. I knock them off and they disappear within the workshop, and that's the end of it. But it's nothing too hard, yeah? You've got 3 screws on either side. Whoop. Dump that there. And another one. Obviously, it goes without saying, in order to do one of these mods, you need the Tango II with the board which actually has the little adapter on it, because there's a little ribbon lead, and the earlier revisions of these Tangos didn't have that on it. But I believe that TBS sell them with, they sell the board individually, so I can't see there being too much of a problem. There we go. And lastly, we go to this one. I think that should be just about it. Did I get it? I must have got it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put this bit down because I don't think I need that at the moment, but I suspect I've got a little nut in here somewhere which is floating. Yeah, there's one. I thought there was one that didn't come out. I'm just going to pop this out because I know what will happen. That will disappear. So, what we got here, we got that. And from what I can tell, we have this little plastic bit over here, which double-sided tapes to here, which is great, but there is a problem with this. There's always a problem. We need to feed a ribbon lead through, which is that ribbon leads somehow got to go through. And from what I can tell, and I haven't actually looked at any instructions, on the back of this, there's actually a handy little mark over here, and that shows you where you need to make a hole in the case. And if I look at how that mates onto it, I'm going to take a rough guess that the ribbon lead goes through there, through the hole we've just created, which appears to line up pretty much bang on with that spot, and joins together. So here goes. This is the fire and see and hopefully not destroy it. Excuse the noise. I'm going to be very gentle here. And all I'm aiming to do is just melt through the plastic. I dare say you could use a soldering iron for this. Let me turn the speed up on this a bit. But in my case, I'm just going through with a little grinding disc on the Dremel here, and I'm through over there. And I'm just going to clean this up by doing it from the other side too. There we go. So that's the most, that's the bit I don't like doing, which is drilling a hole in a brand new case of these. But anyway, so if this works as expected, when that goes on, we go through. So I guess we've got nothing left to do but try. What I'm going to do is pop this double-sided tape off, and I'll do the same over here if I pop this side off. And we've got, well, before I do that, I want to make sure I'm wide enough Yeah, that looks like it will work. We've got one chance of getting this right, haven't we? Fortunately, the end positioning is actually quite easy to line up here, because it can kind of only fit into one spot. There we go, a big push down. Now, I don't think these have any form of polarity on them, or direction, you know, depending on the direction, but what I should be able to do now, and I just see I've got a tiny little bit of dirt there to clear out the way. If I take that, aha, it worked, the hard bit's done. Now, from what I can tell, in this other little bag of tricks over here, we've got a little black cover and 2 screws and this board. So I'm going to take a rough guess that what happens here is that I'll put that back to front, so I'm going to try this again. So we'll pop that bit into here, which I have to say these ribbon leads are fantastic, but I'm not a big fan of them. They're just the sort of thing, they're so fiddly for my rubbish eyes that I have these days, but there we go. And needless to say, we kind of need this to be absolutely straight and lined up, but there we go. So first one's in, we can then slot this through that way. There we go. And if all goes well, I believe we pop that on there, then the cover, and then these 2 little screws. And what I do like is that TBS always uses these screws with Allen keys on it. You know, the Allen key type end or the hex nuts, and it's so much better than fiddling around with a little screw which doesn't really fit. And then that one goes, and look at that. So, last bit to do. I'm guessing we have, just on the back here, another ribbon lead. So I'm going to pop that open with my nut here, and we will slop that in if I can, because this is where it gets horribly fiddly. I'm actually going to peel that battery out the way, because it's a little fiddly to do with the battery in the way. Okay, let me disconnect the battery completely, because I'm doing way too many things with my hands here. And this, I have to say, is not actually that easy at this point, because you're holding quite a few components which really, this module's an afterthought. Okay, we got that in. So we now have it joined, as we can see. And I'm hoping this just pops back onto here, velcroed on. And I can pop the battery power back on board. At the next step, it's just turned itself on.
Throttle warning.
We turn that off, there we go. Now when I close this, I've got to be kind of careful, because you can see what will happen is I could pinch the leads over here if I'm not careful. So I'm just going to make sure all the bits are out the way. Nicely folded up out the way, perfect. And we are back together, I hope. So, a few little screws, and all going well, I'll be able to plug a multi-protocol module in shortly. One screw. I tend to do these from opposing sides when I do it, just because it kind of, with these sort of things, I find if you go around in a circle, you often don't get the whole thing going on in alignment properly. Boom. And that one, that wasn't too hard, was it? And then the last two go down into these little pockets here. There we go. And now, the final step, if I could see what on earth I am doing, you'll notice my eyes are definitely rubbish. We're basically now going to get all the rubber padding back on, and I'm hoping I'll never have to open this up again. Well, just got to ease those in gently, and likewise on this end. It's nothing overly complicated, just kind of like nurse it into position. I've still got one not wanting to go in, you swine. It's never easy, is it? We're in, and there we have it. We have got a multi-protocol module bay. Now, where did I put my multi-protocol module? I don't know. Let me just go check behind me. I don't know what I've done with it, guys. I had it here, and now it is gone. Oh, there we go. I have it. So, what do we have here? This is the TBS multi-protocol module. And all going well, I've never actually used one of the minis, but it looks like it just slots in. Magic. The test is actually now to say, if we go into the config menus, do the options appear on here? So menu, page, and I'm just going to go down to the multi-protocol module. I don't actually know where it is in here, because normally, under OpenTX anyway, you would have the option there, wouldn't you? Global functions, crossfire. I don't actually know. So what I'm not sure at the moment, guys, is I've got my model here, and I've plugged the multi-protocol module into the back, but I don't actually know why it hasn't appeared. And there's one of two reasons. I'm guessing either it hasn't detected it, or I'm being dumb and I need to go read the manual. So I think that's probably what I need to do at this point, is to go read the manual, because it's one of two different things has happened. However, that being said, that went together very, very easily. It's not hard to put this together. So from the point of assembly, I think I've proven what needs to be done. What I have shown is I haven't got a clue what's going on here. So that's the way it goes. I will work out how to make that work reasonably shortly, but I can't see it being too hard. Anyway, guys, I hope that's been informative. Maybe it will tempt you to do a multi-protocol mod, and we'll see how this one goes shortly. Cheers. Well, guys, I'm back, and I actually have it working. It turned out in the end it was not the seating of anything I did mechanically. It was simply a case that I didn't have the most current Crossfire firmware installed. But what really got me flummoxed is when I was going into the TBS agent, it was saying that I was on the latest firmware. But I discovered after a little bit of digging that unless you've gone into the agent settings and enabled beta firmwares, you don't get the stuff you require to get the multi-protocol module installed. So a little bit of faffing about. I finally got the firmware upgraded. I now need to go through, because while I was at it, I upgraded my Crossfire to the latest firmware, so I've got lots of receivers to update. But yeah, it works. I haven't tested binding it or anything, but certainly when I go through the menus, it's all there. The module powers up and seems to talk, so there's a bit of a result. We have a multi-protocol module. Fantastic. Cheers, guys.